This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
And good morning, 5 a.m. I'm Ray Collins. Jacqueline is off today. A beautiful weekend here in the Suncoast. Let's get details of the Monday forecast from our friend, meteorologist John Scalzi. Hey, John.
Good morning to you, sir. Yeah, it was a beautiful weekend. You know, a lot of sunshine around. We had very pleasant conditions, but it did start to get a little bit warm there on Sunday. Thank goodness the relative humidity was low because we hit 85 degrees. So pretty warm, above average temperatures, and we're going to do it again today, I think. Low relative humidity, though, that's the key to a comfortable afternoon, despite the fact that we have lots of sunshine and very warm afternoon temperatures compared to the average. So we look at temperatures across the region that are generally hovering around the 60-degree mark most everywhere you look. Again, dry weather across the entire region. High pressure brings us sunny skies today. Fire danger will be high. The planner calls for daytime highs, well, by 2 p.m. about 81 degrees, but we'll get warmer than that before it's all said and done later in the afternoon. And lots of sunshine everywhere you look. Back to you, Ray.
All right, keep it coming. Thank you, John. Let's check the roads right now. Awfully quiet right now, as you might expect, as we peek at northern Manatee County. Let's go farther south now and see if there's much activity going on. A little bit of red there coming in and out of downtown Bradenton on US 41, which is called 14th Street West in that section. Also some road construction you'll see on State Road 70. That always builds up early in the day. Farther south now into Sarasota County. Let's see where you live. There's a slowdown on Bee Ridge around the construction area around Shade and Tuttle, heading toward 41. Also on Clark Road, same direction westbound around Beneva, Honore, around that section. And then farther south, we'll check the maps in South County, and we'll see a little residual slowdown there in the top part of your screen, way out Clark Road, way out State Road 72, a slowdown there heading towards Sarasota. Otherwise, all quiet as you wake up at 5:02 this morning. A former Punta Gorda police officer goes to court this morning. An arraignment is set for Lee Coel at 9 o'clock today in Charlotte County. He is being charged with negligent manslaughter in the death of 73-year-old Mary Knowlton. She was shot while taking part in a citizens training academy last August at the police station. His hearing is set for 8:30 a.m. The police chief there, Tom Lewis, is also facing a charge of culpable negligence in the same incident. In DeSoto County, a woman accused of setting a house fire that killed her ex-boyfriend's 3 grandchildren will also be arraigned this morning in Arcadia. Marion Williams facing several charges, including arson, burglary, and 3 counts of murder. Prosecutors have announced they are seeking the death penalty against her. The boys ranged in age from 4 to 10. The grandfather was also in the house at the time, but he was able to escape. An investigation is underway after a car struck and killed a pedestrian in Palmetto on Sunday. Police say 50-year-old Patricia Rivera was crossing 8th Avenue West outside the Carriage Court Motel when she was hit by an SUV. An off-duty officer and emergency crews responded, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver says Rivera stepped out in front of the car before she could react. Police say the driver was not at fault. Pedestrian fatalities are actually on the rise nationwide. Over the past 5 years, fatalities have increased 25%. Of the 6,000 deaths, 10% were here in Florida. Now, last year in Sarasota County, there were 10 pedestrian fatalities total. That's actually down 13% from the previous year. It was a busy week for emergency responders in Sarasota. Police report over a dozen overdose calls last week alone. One treatment facility in the area says it has a way to help women caught up in drug addiction. The founder of Prodigal Daughters Journey Home says they are succeeding because they're allowing women to have their children live with them during treatment. Now, the Salvation Army says they try to bring religion back into the lives of the addicted during the recovery process.
Being a faith-based organization, that we not only bring to the table the 12 steps, but we also bring the biblical perspective of what it takes in order to live that life on out.
I can be sober all day long, but it's my behaviors and my thoughts that I need to change in order for my recovery to be successful.
Prodigal Women only accepts women and children, but the Salvation Army accepts male and female. After 3 weeks, directors of the Siesta Breeze trolleys say they're already looking for ways to continue after its trial period ends this September. Erica Jackson has more on who would be paying for this service.
More than 25,000 residents and visitors used the Siesta Key trolley during its first 2 weeks of service. And now Siesta Key officials want to make it permanent here on the Key.
We really are finding that it's definitely improving parking on Siesta Key. We have some local residents here that have already noticed traffic congestion has lightened up a little bit.
Kendra Keiderling with Sarasota County Area Transit believes the first few weeks of the Siesta Breeze trolley service is helping traffic issues on the island. But Scott Jackson disagrees now that his wallet is $20 lighter.
We kind of did a couple U-turns, turned back around, doing the block a few times before we finally settled on paying for parking.
Jackson plans to use the trolley when he returns to the Suncoast, but can Scott continue the program when its 6-month trial ends in September?
We might have to look at creative ways in order to find the funding, because this has proved to be a successful route right off the start.
If you have something that's this successful, it seems to me you need to put your resources into maintaining that.
Mark Smith with the Siesta Key Chamber of Commerce says the group is looking into possible grants from federal agencies or FDOT. Another possibility, restructuring current resources.
There's bus routes in Sarasota County that are unproductive, and perhaps it's a reorganization of the current bus system.
Smith says Siesta Key is the last barrier island in Florida to get a trolley system. The Chamber of Commerce has met with officials up north on Anna Maria who have a permanent trolley to discuss funding options.
In this particular case, you can copy off your neighbor's work, and it works just fine.
Both Scott and the Siesta Key Chamber of Commerce plan to keep the trolley a free service and will only charge as a last resort. Reporting on Siesta Key, Erica Jackson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
An update now on a water main break that left people in Venice with low water pressure over the weekend. Temporary repairs are now complete at the train depot where the incident actually happened. The depot and nearby boat ramp and bike trail are back open today, and a boil water advisory is in effect for those who live around the train depot. To stay as a nature field or convert to a recycling facility, the Council of Neighborhood Associations is hosting a meeting tonight about a developer's plan to buy land near the celery fields to build a new facility. The group will look at how decisions are made on selling public land and if policies should be changed. 7 o'clock tonight at the Sarasota Garden Club. One of the busiest intersections in the area is up for discussion tomorrow night. The state will talk about improvements to the US 41 and Fruitville intersection. Possible plans include, a roundabout. The adjacent Quay project should start there eventually. The meeting is set for tomorrow evening from 5 to 7 in the City Hall Annex on 1st Street in Sarasota. Sarasota Bay is cleaner now thanks to some local fishermen. They spent their Saturday taking volunteers out off the Cortez Bridge near the fishing village to pick up trash. The cleanup was organized by the group called Fishing for Freedom. The volunteers all received lunch at the Cortez Kitchen. Last year, they picked up 4,000 pounds of trash during the Bay exercise last year. And a new way to see dolphins in Sarasota Bay. Dolphin tours out of Bradenton Beach are now available on a 40-foot custom-built catamaran. Tickets are $25 for adults, and tours will take place Monday through Wednesday from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. People get so excited when they see a little glimpse of a dolphin in the water. It's just like they see the Loch Ness. They get so excited sometimes.
Well, they're so beautiful, you know, and they're so smart that it's just so fun to see them.
Very graceful in the water. Yes.
They absolutely are. It's going to be a beautiful day for us today. I think we're looking at again warm temperatures out there, and mild, pleasant afternoons with low relative humidity, but maybe some changes down the road. We'll talk about that in a second or two.
Thank you, John. Still ahead. Another big retail chain set to close its doors. We'll tell you which one. And later in the hour, the latest from a deadly Palm Sunday in Egypt. Stay with us.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-962-4112. That's 1-800-962-4112. Call now, 1-800-962-4112.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce.
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Morning temperatures across the state are still remarkably low. Remember, dew points, the value of how much moisture there is in the atmosphere. And the lower the dew point, the lower the amount of moisture there is. So the lower the relative humidity ends up being, as long as the temperatures stay as warm as they are. 50 in Jacksonville, 48 in Tallahassee, 56 degrees in Orlando, 53 in Sarasota. Again, these are dew point values. Anything in the 50, low humidity, very comfortable. Actual air temperatures across the state are pretty nice as well. Coming in currently 59 degrees with a dew point, as I mentioned, of 53. Now, one bad aspect of these low dew point values is the fact that our fire danger continues to climb. In fact, now the risk of a fire starting and requiring professionals to extinguish it is now in the extreme area in parts of Manatee County. And it's high everywhere else across the Suncoast. And that's not changing. Not changing until we get some significant rainfall around here. We're 6 inches below where we should be for this time of year. So some rainfall is really needed, especially with these drought-like conditions across parts of central Florida. But there's no rain on radar currently anywhere across the Suncoast, nor is there anywhere across the state, except maybe a few light showers over on the other coast because of this easterly wind that we have developed. In fact, to get significant rainfalls, you have to go all the way back into parts of the plains and the heartland. So an area of low pressure continues to very, very slowly inch its way eastward. That is really not going to impact us. We have this big ridge of high pressure over the eastern seaboard that noses down into the state of Florida. It's solidly anchored there. It's not going anywhere. Upper level winds will only serve to reinforce that high with time. So as we head into the end of the week, our fire danger is not going to get any better whatsoever, and it's a big problem across the state of Florida. Now, moisture, surface moisture, may increase just a little bit with time, and that due to that easterly wind, eventually bringing over a little bit more humidity our way in terms of finally transporting it from the Atlantic to our coast. But don't expect too much in the way of rainfall with it. These showers are very shallow and confined to the eastern seaboard. So as those showers move on shore, they lose the sufficient moisture necessary to produce any kind of rain. Sunny skies will continue for us, low relative humidity, warmer than average afternoon high temperatures, and then that high pressure ridge continues off our east coast, bringing us that easterly wind flow. It's actually just a little bit to our north. Our water vapor imagery showing you the swirls and motions in our atmosphere continue to show a general motion in the upper levels that support this big ridge, we call it, kind of like a mountain of wind sitting over the eastern coast, and that brings that high pressure ridge right there off the mid-Atlantic coast. And with that, we get the easterly wind that continues with these few fair weather clouds and a few light showers over on the other coast, but failing to ever really make it into our area, right straight through Wednesday. Dry conditions expected. For boaters, pretty nice. East wind coming in at about 5 to 10 this afternoon, shifts a little more northwest with a sea breeze, which collapses and then returns us to an easterly flow and a little bit of a wind surge during the late evening and early night. 2-foot seas, moderate chop on bay and inland waters. And the official Suncoast forecast calls for warm temperatures, low relative humidity, at least for the first half of the week, and no rain. Right?
All right, very nice, John. You can go home probably this week. Take it slowly. On the roads right now, we've got no problems at this point of the morning, all quiet from the Sunshine Skyway on down through Sarasota County. Right now in Manatee County, a little bit of a buildup on 41 northbound into downtown Bradenton, otherwise all quiet right now. Farther south into the mid-county region of Sarasota, a couple of construction incidents there, first off at Fruitville and 41 and also on Bee Ridge Road. And then in the lower right corner, a situation at War Mineral Springs and Tarpon Point. Otherwise, all quiet right now. On to consumer news now. The average price of gas is the highest it's been in nearly 2 years. The national average, $2.39 a gallon, up 7 cents over last week. It's the highest since September of 2015. Floridians paying more than that average price here, $2.49 a gallon, a dime more. The highest it's been here since August of 2015. Well, we hate to report this story, an important recall. If you buy salads in Walmart, a customer made a gruesome discovery inside a bag of fresh, organic market-side spring mix. They found a dead bat. The company hasn't said where it happened. The recalled 5-ounce salads are sold at Walmart stores across the Southeast. The CDC, the FDA, and the state are all looking into this unfortunate incident. Financial troubles are causing another major retailer to close its doors. H.H. Gregg plans to close in May, and they'll close 120 stores in 19 states, including here in Florida. It's filed for bankruptcy protection last month. The retailer says sells major appliances like washers and TVs. It is just the latest store to file for protection. Payless Shoe Stores filed last week for bankruptcy as well. If you have any overdue library books in Sarasota County, here's your chance to avoid a penalty. They're hosting a Amnesty Week. Anyone who has overdue books or films from the library can return it without being fined. However, items must be returned in person and not through the book drops or by mail. Well, this next story might make you think twice before gambling with friends. A gambler at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Fort Lauderdale lost $100,000, all because he let his friend push the button on the slot machine after he paid for it. Now, she hit the jackpot, but now when casino managers saw the woman push it, they said she should get the winnings, not him.
I said she touched the button, so technically we have to pay her.
Jan all of a sudden went ballistic. He started screaming in front of everybody.
I said, "Are you kidding me?"
Well, you might not be surprised to hear the two have not talked much since the incident. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, a new hybrid police car, but can it still catch the bad guys? Details and Tech Bites. And next half hour, swearing in a new member of the U.S. Supreme Court. Stay with us.
So many times we underestimate the human spirit's drive to recover. We often see people surpass what any of us might have expected initially. The Rehabilitation Pavilion at Sarasota Memorial is the top of the line. It allows us to really bring the patient's recovery to the next level.
For years, I've told everyone my Craftmatic adjustable bed was the greatest until I got the new Craftmatic Legacy.
It has an adjustable pillow feature that's awesome. You're gonna want one too when you see how little they cost.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less. Featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest, bedside power plugs, underbed night lights, and more. Available in all mattress types with optional heat and soothing massage for as much as half the price of Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables. Enjoy temporary relief of low back pain, nighttime heartburn, mild arthritis. Adjust the rising pillow feature to help align your head, neck, and shoulders. See for yourself with our 30-day in-home trial. So call and price one today for less, up to 50% less.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You gotta see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-237-0214. That's 1-800-237-0214. Call 1-800-237-0214. Call now.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
And welcome back, 522. Ford's new police car is a gas-electric hybrid. Can it still catch the bad guys too? We've got details in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Ford's new eco-friendly cop car.
The company calls it the police responder and says it averages 38 miles per gallon.
It's supposed to save departments nearly $4,000 a year on gas.
Ford has also come up with this, a crib that simulates a car ride perfect for parents who struggle to lull their newborns back to sleep.
So get this, it gently rocks side to side and has lights that turn on and off like passing under street lights. It's just a prototype, but Ford is considering a full-scale production.
Do they make it for adults that work
that
the
would
overnight
work
shift?
completely.
And Jeep is set to unveil an SUV like no other at next week's New York Auto Show.
2018 Grand Cherokee Trackhawk goes from 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds. It's being called the world's most powerful SUV. And get this, the 707 horsepower beast can hit speeds of 180 miles an hour.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Petco.
At Petco, we sell Merrick grain-free, made with real Texas beef as the #1 ingredient, and whole foods from farmers we know and trust. Now, $6 off.
When you have allergies, it can seem like triggers pop up everywhere. Luckily, there's powerful 24-hour non-drowsy Claritin. It provides relief of symptoms that can be triggered by over 200 different allergens. Live Claritin Clear.
For a limited time only at VisionWorks, get a free frame up to $120 with 25% off your lenses when you buy a complete pair of glasses. Go to visionworks.com for your coupon. VisionWorks. Shop in store and online.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Are you considering joint replacement or revision surgery? Consider this. Dr. Edward Stolarski has performed thousands of successful joint replacement procedures and trained surgeons from all over the world. Using advanced technologies, Dr. Stolarski is able to perform some of the most complex surgeries.
I wish I knew about Dr. Stolarski much sooner.
After the surgery, I don't have any pain. It's like I've got a 16-year-old hip.
My name's Ed Stolarski. What I really do is I give people back their life.
Schedule a consultation today.
During the past 10 years, Tidewell Hospice volunteers have provided more than 1 million hours of service. They sit with patients, giving caregivers a break. They work in offices. They take their furry friends on pet therapy visits. They even clown around. Every task performed by a volunteer makes a difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Join Tidewell's volunteer team. They're truly 1 in a million. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
This half hour on Good Morning Suncoast, new threats of retaliation after last week's airstrikes in Syria, just as the Secretary of State heads to Russia. Plus, the death toll continues to rise in Egypt after a bombing during services on Palm Sunday. And wildfires cause dangerous conditions for drivers on I-75. We'll show you where next this half hour on Good Morning Suncoast.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
We begin with a shot of the Ringling Causeway this morning, a pretty shot of the bridge on this peaceful morning. There you see it. Quiet there right now. We'll check back though later in the morning. Won't be quite the same a busy spot as the day progresses. We're at 5:29. I'm Ray Collins. Jacqueline is off today. John Skulls is where he's supposed to be. And we're looking at a relatively peaceful week, John?
Yeah, I think so, with the exception of the fire danger, which continues to climb. We'll monitor that each and every day, and it does show in some areas some extreme values now, an indication of the amount of available understory fuel that would be available for a fire to catch, plus the low relative humidity. That doesn't even take into account the wind speeds, which will be kind of breezy over the next several days as we develop a decent sea breeze each and every afternoon. Current conditions across the region: 59 degrees Wauchula, 57 Myakka. Lakewood Ranch comes in at 59. Temperatures generally hovering around the 60 mark everywhere you look. A little bit warmer than it was on Saturday morning, certainly, when we had temperatures dropping down into the 40s. Across the region, sunny skies. That's the name of the game for today. With a general easterly wind and a high-pressure ridge, we'll have nothing but sunshine wall to wall. And again, above average daytime high temperatures. Ray, watch for those temperatures to top out today in the mid-80s once again.
Very warm for April. Thank you, John. Roads are quiet so far. We'll check first off in northern Manatee County up by the Sunshine Skyway. No problems right now. Farther south in Manatee County, we might see a little bit of a buildup in and out of downtown Bradenton. That'll get a lot worse in about an hour or so. Farther south into Sarasota County, we saw an earlier problem on 41 southbound between Fruitville and Bee Ridge. Nothing major there to report around the Bay Vista area. And then farther south into Sarasota County, Nothing too bad. A little slowdown there on I-75 in the southbound lane as it swings from west to east through southern Sarasota County. Topping our news this half hour, the Secretary of State meets this week with Russia in the wake of those U.S. bombings in Syria. The latest from Washington and reporter Maggie Rulli.
Overnight, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson's making his way to Moscow as the U.S. and Russia find themselves increasingly at odds. Now, an ominous threat in a joint statement from Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah, the military commanders defending the Assad regime in Syria, saying the United States crossed red lines by attacking Syria, threatening to retaliate against any future military actions. Adding Russia and Iran will not allow the United States to be the only superpower in the world. The United States is still investigating whether the Russians were involved in the chemical attack last week that killed more than 80 Syrian civilians. But ahead of his trip, Secretary Tillerson says he's seen no hard evidence suggesting a Russian connection and insists the plan in Syria remains the same: defeat ISIS.
In that regard, we are hopeful that we can work with Russia and use their influence to achieve areas of stabilization throughout Syria.
But United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley suggested another priority while on CNN.
We don't see a peaceful Syria with Assad in there.
Both Secretary Tillerson and Ambassador Haley are right about this.
National Security Advisor General H.R. McMaster on Fox News defending both priorities.
That should be a strong message to Assad and to his sponsors who are enabling his campaign of mass murder against his own civilians.
Secretary Tillerson's expected in Russia tomorrow night, where he plans to meet with the Russian foreign minister. It's a visit that will be his most high-profile trip yet as Secretary of State. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Washington.
This morning in D.C., Neil Gorsuch will be sworn in as the 101st Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. Chief Justice John Roberts will administer the oath in a private ceremony at 9 a.m. Justice Anthony Kennedy will then administer the judicial oath at a public ceremony in the White House Rose Garden at 11 a.m. Gorsuch was reconfirmed on Friday, mostly along party lines. He replaces the late Antonin Scalia. The death toll in Egypt's Christian church bombings is now at 49. The bombings left dozens of people dead and more than 100 injured. Coptic churches have always been the target of ISIS. The extremist group is claiming responsibility for Sunday's attacks. They have threatened more attacks in the future. The Egyptian president has declared 3 days of national mourning and a 3-month state of emergency there.
They try to take the joy from us. This is not the first time it happened on holiday.
President Trump used his Twitter account to condemn the attacks, adding that he had great confidence that his Egyptian counterpart will handle the situation. Well, back in this area, drivers are being warned to take caution on I-75 through Collier County as a wildfire spreads through the area. The fire has spread to 8,000 acres so far. The Florida Highway Patrol is reporting low visibility in southwest Florida. The highway is open, but they'll close sections if it gets any worse. An alternative route is US 41 through the base of the state. Drivers are being asked to use their low beams, slow down, and watch out for slow or stopped vehicles on the roadway. As John Scalzi told us, Florida is dry right now, and that is causing brush fires around the state. And as Rob Marciano tells us now, in Orlando this weekend, there were actually evacuations.
Smoke billowing across the Florida sky as fast-moving brush fires continue to flare up across the state.
Ashes is falling from the sky. It's time to get out of here.
Lightning believed to have caused this 650-acre blaze north of Tampa. Helicopters dumping water on the inferno, which is only 25% contained. And just outside Orlando, a 165-acre brush fire forcing more than 100 campers to evacuate a Girl Scout camp. Firefighters battling gusty winds, fighting the blaze from above.
Command, just be advised, receiving multiple calls from the Girl Scout occupants inside the campground. We are advising them to evacuate.
More than 10 structures destroyed. This just one of 20 fires in the Orlando area alone this weekend.
The smoke and the smell, it's really bad.
And near Miami, a brush fire burning since Wednesday, growing to nearly 7,000 acres. A lack of rainfall creating moderate to severe drought in parts of the Sunshine State, elevating fire danger levels.
All right, checking our top local headlines now. The former Punta Gorda police officer who accidentally shot and killed a woman during a Citizens Police Training Academy is due back in court today. Lee Coel faces arraignment in Punta Gorda. And a DeSoto County woman accused of killing 3 of her ex-boyfriend's grandchildren by setting his house on fire will also be arraigned this morning in Arcadia. And a successful start to the Siesta Key trolley service, which could help extend services in the future. But who pays for all this? We'll have a story at the top of the hour at 6 o'clock. Dozens of boats on the water this weekend at the Nathan Benderson Park. In fact, 850 athletes from 34 teams across Florida took part. The finals are qualifying events for high school rowing teams looking to compete at the Nationals. Winners will then move on to the Youth Nationals, the U.S. Rowing Championships. Rowers say they train all year for this one.
Since I'm with my team all the time, 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, it's more like a family, not even a team anymore. So when I win, it's like we're all winning.
This was the 8th year that Nathan Benderson has hosted this tournament. Well, it's a wrap for this year's Sarasota Film Festival. An awards ceremony capped off the festivities at the Sarasota Opera House. Dozens of movies received awards, a few on your screen right there. The South African film The Wound received a $5,000 cash prize. Other winners included documentaries like The Last Men in Aleppo, which is about the Syrian rescue operation. It also received an award at the Sundance Film Festival. And the next Sarasota Film Festival is already in the works. It's April 13th to the 22nd, so a little later next year for the 2018. This is the first year I've never seen one single film. Did you get a chance to see any films this year?
I did. I saw one that was produced by the Source Theater Company here in town that was really phenomenal, an absolutely beautiful film about how kids deal with the pressures of being kids in Sarasota. It was filmed locally, shot locally with local talent, so it was impressive.
They do good work there. They really do. Yeah.
They do. We have, speaking of good work, some good weather for you this week. Although the fire danger is just kind of troubling to see it climb and climb and climb, you know, and then the fire spreading across the state of Florida. It's probably not going to get much better either until the rainy season starts.
Right. Okay, talk more about that next. First, the effects of the Zika virus after the outbreak of the virus in the state last year. Why health officials are now issuing new warnings. That's coming up in Health Smart.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. AndServices.com. AndServices.com.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce?
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Don't miss Southwest Florida's largest barbecue and bluegrass event Friday, April 14th and Saturday, April 15th, when the 8th annual Suncoast Barbecue and Bluegrass Bash returns to Venice. Bring the whole family and enjoy genuine competition barbecue and award-winning bluegrass entertainment. Please join us for a finger-licking and hot-picking good time April 14th and 15th at the Suncoast Barbecue and Bluegrass Bash. Free admission, parking, entertainment, and family activities. Get all the details at suncoastbarbecuebash.com.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com. AND services.com.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Yeah, conditions across the state of Florida continue to be dry. We're looking at a dew point value now that comes in at 53 degrees. That's a low dew point. It makes it feel kind of comfortable out there, but still, it does help to suppress any rain chances that we have. And that will be the case, really, for the next several days. 59 degrees the air temperature, starry skies out there. It was beautiful. If you got a chance to look at Jupiter on Friday, it was a beautiful sight under that mostly clear sky. We had a few fair weather clouds, but all in all, it was a pretty nice evening. We are continuing to watch across the state of Florida general easterly wind flow everywhere we look across the Suncoast. Coming in fairly light at about 5 to 10 this morning. It will continue on this afternoon with perhaps a little bit of a surge toward the evening hours once again. With that easterly wind flow continuing, it will help to take some of the red tide toxins that are in the air and push them back out into the open waters. And the latest observations from Mote Marine spotters at our individual area beaches only show 2 locations where there is a slight amount of the red tide irritant in the air. So that's good. The easterly wind flow will continue for probably the remainder of this work week and probably into the weekend as well. In fact, that high pressure ridge, which helps to suppress our rain chances, is going to do nothing but build again as we get into the weekend. So it's not even going to break down at all. Across the region, radar not showing a drop of rain locally, but there are a few scattered showers over on the other coast. Now, we may see our humidity increase as we head into the end of the work week because that easterly flow will pick up some of this moisture, supporting a few of these showers and kind of transport it eventually across into our area. But that high pressure ridge building aloft once again this weekend will keep any of the showers at bay. So we'll get a little extra humidity, but we won't get any cooling rains as we head into the weekend, and that fire danger will continue to climb locally. Across the region, the easterly wind will continue across the entire Atlantic coast of the state of Florida. But to see any significant rainfalls, you really have to go back to the west. And they're getting some pretty good rain along a frontal boundary that really isn't going to go much of anywhere over the next several days. A very slow progression because of the strength of that high-pressure ridge off the mid-Atlantic, bringing us our easterly wind. And as I mentioned, that just stays with us. An east wind day after day, continuing to provide a few scattered showers over on the other coast, which is good. That helps to suppress fire danger over on the east coast, but those showers just are not going to make it into our region. So for us, sunny skies, low relative humidity for several days anyway, and then warmer than average afternoon highs coming in about where they did yesterday. Maybe a little lower as we head into midweek, but still coming in the mid-80s. And then high pressure continuing on with our easterly wind. The reason for that big high pressure ridge is the direction of air aloft that really is bringing us a big ridge over the eastern seaboard. And the surface reflection of that is that high pressure ridge anchored off the Atlantic coast. And that's what's bringing us that easterly wind flow, and that's what's going to continue bringing it. It's still not a strong enough easterly wind flow that we won't be able to squeak out a sea breeze in the afternoon along the coastline. So that'll be nice, help cool things off a little bit right along the immediate coastline. But otherwise, we will watch that humidity begin to increase as we head into the weekend. Don't expect too much in the way of rain. We'll keep it dry right straight through the week. Ray?
All right, thank you, John. Talk to you again soon. Roadways are quiet right now. First off, very tip of northern Manatee County, quiet across the Sunshine Skyway. We look farther south now into Manatee County. A little slowdown there on State Road 64, heading toward the interstate. Farther south now into the maps in Sarasota County. A bit of a slowdown there on Clark Road, heading toward the interstate around the Beneva area, shall we say, and also slow there on 41 southbound from downtown right to Bee Ridge Road. And then farther south into Sarasota County, we'll see a little slowdown on I-75. Otherwise, not too bad as you wake up on this Monday morning. All right, time for Health Smart now. New warnings about how the Zika virus affects pregnancies. Dr. Timothy Johnson has a story for us.
We have all heard about the devastating birth defects from the mosquito-borne Zika virus. Now, a new CDC report announcing 51 instances of these Zika-linked problems so far in the U.S., and the number may climb higher yet. CDC officials say 44 states have reported pregnant women possibly infected with Zika since the outbreaks began. Most of these women were infected during travel abroad. And while headlines about local transmission have faded from the front page, the acting head of the CDC says even now, 30 to 40 new cases of Zika in pregnant women in the U.S. are reported each week. The total cases of Zika in pregnant women so far is 1,600 and climbing. 1 in 10 women with confirmed Zika infection have had an infant or fetus with birth defects. The risk is higher in women infected earlier in pregnancy. The advice from health officials for pregnant women is to heed those travel warnings, practice mosquito-safe behaviors, and if you're concerned, ask your doctor about how best to keep yourself and your baby safe. With this Medical Minute, I'm Dr. Timothy Johnson.
Other health news now. The leading cause of death among infants is SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome. Parents can reduce the chance of infant suffocation by knowing what doctors call the ABCs of sleep. Babies should always sleep alone on their back and in a crib. Alone means no stuffed animals, toys, or blankets. If they're on their backs, babies are less likely to get their face stuck on the mattress or the side of the bed. Doctors also say babies should be in a crib and not in the parents' bed as well.
The best thing is that they do learn to sleep in their own room at some point. If they're always used to having a parent around, then as they become toddlers, that's a harder and harder habit to break.
Also, investing in a baby monitor with either audio or video is often a good idea. Helps parents keep a watchful eye or ear on their little one. A new survey finds that regular use of alcohol among seniors is on the rise in the past 20 years. Researchers analyzed responses to the National Health Interview between 1997 and 2014. 20 years ago, 54% of older men said they are current drinkers, compared to nearly 60% back in 2014. That's a 6% increase recently. The number of older women who drank regularly rose from 38% to 47% in the past 20 years. That is a 9% increase. Runners and walkers hit the streets of Lakewood Ranch on Saturday to help raise money for a good cause. The JDRF One Walk is a fundraiser to help find a cure for type 1 diabetes. Dozens of teams took part in the 5K run along Main Street, some who battled the disease, others who just took part to support others who have it.
The end stage of diabetes is not forgiving, and I've been there with my dad, and it's not pretty. So to help negate that for the future generations will help, the funding, the research will help these children live longer. And
those who took part raised over $220,000. That surpassed the goal by $1,000. And I had a good time being the honorary master of ceremonies out there with all the kids. We had a wonderful time before the race. And here's also a picture of the Emma Bella, whose mother began the whole foundation in Lakewood Ranch. I think we've got a second photo of her. Emma Bella is the one right next to me there in the long reddish hair, 15-year-old. I asked her what her goals were, and someday she said, I want to be president. It's good to dream big. It's 10 to 6 right now on this Monday morning. More news after this. Stay with us.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-962-4112. That's 1-800-962-4112. Call now, 1-800-962-4112.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
So many times we underestimate the human spirit's drive to recover. We often see people surpass what any of us might have expected initially. The Rehabilitation Pavilion at Sarasota Memorial is the top of the line. It allows us to really bring the patient's recovery to the next level.
Since 1928, Karastan has been setting the standard in carpets and rugs, producing non-allergenic wools that won't promote the growth of bacteria or dust mites like other carpets will. Karastan wools actively remove contaminants from the indoor air, making your home healthier. And there are many colors and patterns and textures to choose from. Come see for yourself.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Well, you might want to keep a close eye on the sky for the next week and a half. An asteroid is expected to pass by Earth on April 19th. That's a week from Wednesday. The rock is the size of 6 football fields. You're more than 1 million miles away, but don't worry. Scientists say they don't expect any kind of collision. That's good to hear. Meantime, also looking up, history is made on the International Space Station. American astronaut Peggy Whitson, the first woman to take command of the space station twice. She last did it 9 years ago. She also broke the record for most spacewalks by a woman with 8. She's on track to break another record as well. Most total days spent in space for a man or a woman. So Peggy Whitson, things are looking up for her. So a week from Wednesday, John, getting back to that last one, an asteroid passing by the Earth. Is this one of those things that we need a telescope to see, probably? If that?
I don't know if a telescope will let you see an asteroid unless it's a really good telescope and you know exactly where to look. But yeah, you know, asteroids are passing by all the time, and sometimes they get, you know, astronomically speaking, fairly close to the Earth, but never close enough to do us any harm so far.
So far.
Yeah. Problem is we have no kind of method of dealing with it if they did.
Ah, that's true too. More local news headlines after this. Stay with us, folks.